It's that day. It's Valentine's Day. And for those who celebrate, love is in the air. You can't put a price tag on love, people say, but we can definitely put a price tag on the hot commodity for Valentine's Day, chocolate. So that price tag keeps on going up and up thanks to the rising price of cocoa. Well, there is nothing romantic about climate change, supply problems, and cost, but the price of chocolate for this Valentine's Day is definitely more bitter than sweet. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Friday, February 14th, here on BEFM, 부산영어방송. Good morning, listeners. I hope you're all doing well. Happy Valentine's Day. Whether you're in a relationship with a significant other or not, the thing is this. Well, we all love you, right? I definitely love you guys. So whether you are going to celebrate today or not, it is Valentine's Day, a holiday all about love and, the tradition goes, expressed through chocolate. But if you have looked at chocolate prices lately, you might be feeling a little less festive, as the price of cacao, the raw ingredient for chocolate, it is at an all-time high. So cocoa futures are lingering over $10,000 per ton. So by the way, the rate of increase for the price of chocolate at 178% from last year. And it was higher than the rate of increase for Bitcoin in that same period. So just to give you a comparison, right? The reason for the spike in prices is climate change and pests in major production nations like the Ivory Coast and also Ghana. So with this unstable supply, price increases are coming on a domestic front as well, with major food and bakery manufacturers having raised their prices on chocolate and chocolate, snacks, anything that has chocolate in it. And as a result, we're actually seeing a polarization in the retail sector. So we see cheaper, more reasonable prices with packaged chocolate from convenience stores and supermarkets, including, those like buy one, get one free sales, 1+1, and in discounts. On the other hand, we have the higher end hotel and bakery cakes and confectionaries that brand themselves as kind of like luxury brands. Yeah, they're super expensive. So waivers, are you going home tonight with a box of chocolates or are you going to be expressing your love for your partner or family and friends in some other way? Ooh, so how are you going to be expressing that love? Well, that's a kind of a question for you to ponder, for you to think about. But now it's time for our text topic. Are you ready? Here we go. Give us your cheesiest, corniest pickup lines. Okay, so 성형을 보장 못하는 사랑의 멘트. 사랑의 멘트. 고백 멘트 여러분의 창의력을 발휘해서 혹은 과거에 나는 이렇게 해서 추억을 떠올리면서요. 나는 이런 멘트로 for example, like, this is how I won my wife over. Or it could be vice versa. Like, this is how I snagged my guy, right? 네, 성공은 절대로 보장 못합니다, right? However, these lines, these one-liners, that's how you, at least back in my era when I was dating, there were one-liners, those pickup lines that you heard about and you kind of cringed, or sometimes you smiled. Anyhow, send those into our live chat on YouTube on BEFM, 부산영어방송. Also, pound 9050 샵 9050. That's going to cost you 101. You can also reach me for free through our Kakao Talk channel. So same thing there. Excuse me. Search for BEFM or 부산영어방송 to find us and add us as a friend. You can listen to us on 90.5 and 103.3 FM on the radio if you're in the Busan area. We also have two apps. Excuse me, I have something caught in my throat. And so as we look ahead to our morning together, we have Foreign Press Highlights and What in the World. Our special interview today, we're going to be focusing on how to maintain lasting love. So in line with Valentine's Day. So think about that. I'll be back with today's headlines. It's time for news. Court schedules additional hearing for Yoon's impeachment trial. The Constitutional Court said yesterday that it will hold an additional hearing for President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment trial next Tuesday to hear arguments from both the president's defense and the National Assembly. Supreme Court confirms 15-year sentence for Lee Jae-myung's attacker. The Supreme Court yesterday upheld lower court's 15-year prison term for the knife attacker of the opposition leader, Lee Jae-myung. South Korea bans storing battery banks in plane overhead bins. Passengers traveling on South Korean airlines will be banned from storing portable battery banks and e-cigarettes in overhead storage compartments starting next month, the government announced yesterday. Trump announces plans for reciprocal tariffs. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a new reciprocal tariff policy to apply to all U.S. trading partners to level the playing field. Figure skaters Kim Tae-yeon and Cha Jun-han win gold and put South Korea in second place overall. South Korea added 3 gold medals at the Asian Winter Games yesterday to lock down second place in the medal race with 1 day remaining. These are today's headlines. Now time to connect with Sue for Busan Updates. She's in the studio with us. Let's say hi to her first. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Indeed. And it also just happens to be, of course, Valentine's Day. So today we're asking for the cheesiest, corniest pickup lines. Anything you remember that, you heard and you kind of like, you might have cringed or you might have laughed, actually. Sometimes people, with these lines, whether you're male or female, it's just a conversation starter. And sometimes you find it funny.
Well, Catherine, I cannot remember last time I went on a date. So the cheesy.
Really? You don't remember?
진짜요? It's been so long. So that's what I'm implying.
Yes.
It's been so long to have something to do with romance. So can't tell you some examples, but I'm having a Galentine's night tonight.
You are?
Yeah. So with my girlfriends getting together. Sharing some chocolate, maybe.
Valentine's Day, yes, indeed. And for example, I remember the cheesiest one back in my era, back many, many years ago. It was you must be so tired. Why? You were running through my mind all last night. Cheesy. And you would think okay, this guy has no imagination. If you're going to use something like that.
Okay.
Right. Or in Korean, what would you say? 피곤하겠다. Why? 너는 천사니까 날개를 이렇게 파담파담하면서 if those are your lines, you need to find new lines because that just does not work.
But even that, I would appreciate it one day.
Really?
I'm not desperate. I'm very content.
Yes.
Let you know.
It's very similar to what Leslie said. She said the pickup line that made my first boyfriend that he used on me, which at the age of 15 made me blush, was, "Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?" So that's very, very similar to the whole the whole angel
thing. Koreans are obsessed with
angels.
Yeah,
I noticed that there is a little cultural thing there with angels and fairies and all that, right? Well, thank you for sharing a little bit about your non-dating life right now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. We'll just leave it at that. All right, let's get to our first update. Haeundae-gu District Council has proposed an amendment to the Local Tax Act to halt tax reduction for the Bay 101. So let's explain what is this?
So the Bay 101 is a leisure and commercial facility operating within Dongbaeksum Island. It was designated as Busan Monument Number 46 in 1999 and also became a National Cultural Heritage Site under the category of Scenic Area in 2007.
Yes.
The council proposed to amend the restriction of Special Local Taxation Act. This provision allows property tax exemptions or reductions for land located within cultural heritage sites.
Yes. So why did the council push for this change in legislation?
So the Bay 101 was originally a marine leisure base and established in 2014. Over the years, it has become a commercial hub with high-end restaurants and rental spaces. Despite this shift, it has continued to receive significant property tax reductions. So the council argues that it is unfair preferential treatment, claiming that the facility has not been used as a marine leisure base as originally intended.
Yes.
And previously, the Bay 101 enjoyed 100% land tax exemption and 50% building tax reduction. However, since last year, a change in Busan City regulations has led to full taxation on buildings, while the land tax remains exempt under the law.
Yes.
So in 2023, the land tax reduction amounted to approximately 90 million won, 9천만 원. And to address this, the council is calling for a legal amendment so that the local governments are allowed to decide tax benefits for properties in cultural and natural heritage sites through municipal ordinances.
I see. So we'll see how this will change things here locally. Next, let's talk about Namgu District, which is pushing to expand the U.S. military base zone.
Yes, so the U.S. military base zone is 미군 공여구역. So it refers to the facilities and areas that South Korea has provided to the United States for the use of the U.S. Forces Korea. So Namgu District is working to designate the underdeveloped areas of Ganman number 2 Dong,
Yes.
Uamdong, and Yongdang-dong, which are near Busan Port's 8th Pier and home to U.S. military bases. And this designation would allow these areas to receive up to 50% national funding for resident support projects. And currently, only Ganman number 1 Dong is part of the zone. The district argues that additional designations are needed to develop a comprehensive urban plan for the entire area.
Right.
And they formally requested the expansion from the Ministry of the Interior and Safety last July.
I see. So once again, this is regarding the U.S. military base zone. Next up, let's talk about Busan City launching customized support to ensure the legal use of living accommodation facilities.
So living accommodation facilities means 생활숙박시설. So it's an accommodation concept that combines a lodging hotel and a residential office-tel, providing hotel-style services.
Right.
And last year, living accommodation facility legal use support plan was announced by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport. Following this plan, a new support system called Use Change Consulting System, 용도 변경 컨설팅 제도 was introduced. And it plans to help citizens who want to convert living accommodation facilities into office-tels by identifying potential legal obstacles in advance.
Yes.
The city will help facility owners navigate the legal steps needed to convert properties, provide guidance on lodging business registration,
Yes.
and offer consulting services for those looking to change the use of their facilities through this consulting system.
Right. So is there a particular reason why the system or program was launched?
So at the end of 2024, it was found that Busan has 11,593 living accommodation units with 8,593 registered for lodging business. However, about 49% of the units are at risk of becoming illegal residences due to lack of registration.
Yes.
So this has prompted urgent action, and the consultation services will be available for applications starting from the 17th through the district building departments.
Right. So that's almost like half, basically. Well, what is the eligibility, the requirements for such consultation?
So if there are multiple owners or buyers in a single building, owners or buyers of 10 or more units must agree to apply. And additionally, the developer of an under construction project can also apply. And lastly, those who meet certain conditions can access consulting services from Busan Institute of Registered Architects, 부산시 건축사회 as well.
I see. Thanks for explaining this program so thoroughly to our listeners. And now we're going to talk about the Busan Women's New Employment Center, which is recruiting trainees for Women's Vocational Training Program.
So the training targets women who have experienced a career break or discontinuity in their employment and hope to re-enter the workforce. The Busan Women's Center director noted that 78% of last year's program participants successfully secured jobs in fields related to their training.
Yes. And so what type of courses will be available this year?
So several courses like hotel room management, apartment accounting, pet fashion design, specialized workwear production, server care welfare, housekeeping training, and nurse assistant re-employment will be available. Especially the nurse assistant re-employment course is being introduced for the first time due to the growing demand for healthcare services. And this year, the program is offering free tuition as well as participation incentives like 20,000 won and some transportation subsidies. And if there's anyone interested in the program, please apply by visiting the Busan Women's Center, second floor, or through the website of 여성새로일하기.
Yes. So thank you for giving us such good information for those who might need it. Lastly, let's talk about the Busan Metropolitan Office of Education announcing the 11th Literacy Education Program Certificate Ceremony. So apparently this was already, they already had this, right? Yes.
So the Literacy Education Program grants academic recognition to adults aged 18 and older who missed former education during their school years. It helps low literacy or undereducated individuals develop reading and writing skills to earn elementary or middle school diplomas. So the program began in the 2014 academic year with 196 graduates.
Yes.
Since then, an additional 138 individuals have received academic recognition this time, bringing the total number of graduates to 803.
Yes.
And among the graduates, the youngest is 47 years old, who finished elementary course, and the oldest is 85 years old.
Wow. That's amazing, though.
Yes.
To want to go back to school and to finish this, or, in terms of literacy.
And at that age.
Yes, that's just like... Kudos to them. So thank you for going over all the local updates. And of course, we'll check in with you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Sue.
You too. Thank you.
All right, now back to you, the listeners, with our traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. There is some congestion detected on the Dongso overpass from Bumneko ramp to the old Kaegum tollgate. Also, traffic detected on Nakdong-Namno from Myeongji interchange to Gangso police station. Looking quite slow on the Namhae Expressway right now from Namsanjeong station to the Deokjeon interchange overpass. Currently, -1 degree Celsius under clear skies. It's expected to go up to 12 today with cloud coverage starting in the afternoon, so a little bit warmer. Looking ahead to the weekend, warming up this weekend with above zero temperatures on both days. You can expect a high of 11 degrees tomorrow, 13 degrees on Sunday. However, there is rain in the forecast for Saturday evening through early Sunday morning. This is, of course, here in Busan. This was your traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for news highlights, or actually digests, and that's why Haley's here with us. Good morning.
Good. I am a highlight.
Yes, you are the highlights of the morning.
Thank you.
So,
Happy
let's hear
Valentine's Day. All right, so
Let's
we're all.
hear it.
Wait, where's my list? Wait.
Oh, is that your list? Oh my gosh.
This is. Did you not do this in junior high? Fold your
What?
notes into hearts with friends, like girlfriends. No. Okay. Just
They were
all right.
given to me, but I never folded them.
Okay.
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 Joke. People joke. Yes.
All right. So, excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse the ruffling.
Yes,
Excuse
the ruffling.
It-
Yes, here we
All
go.
right. So, Catherine,
Yes.
my hand feels heavy.
Oh.
Warming.
Oh, really?
Because you're so hot.
Where'd you get these? Off the internet?
Yeah.
Okay, what else? What else?
This is me preparing for my news show last night.
Yes.
Writing these down on
Okay,
my
okay.
nephew's 색종이 and then folding it into hearts. So, you know,
Here we go.
I prepare. All right. Final one. What's on the menu?
What?
Me and you. All right. We're done.
I have a couple.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
A couple here. Are you a magician?
No, I'm not.
Because when I look at you, everyone else disappears.
Aww.
Okay, cheese.
Cheese.
Are you a keyboard?
No, I'm not.
Because you might just be my type.
Oh, that's actually
Typing
kind of clever.
keyboard.
It's actually, I don't know why.
이거
but that's
요즘엔
really
today,
clever.
like
Yeah.
for young people.
Please don't use it on me, but it's actually kind of
'cause
clever.
Like,
Yeah.
And then how about this one? This is kind of creepy. How can I plan our wedding without having your number?
Yeah,
That's stalkerish. Yeah, let's not do
So
that.
I'm like, all right, I don't have your
Draw
number,
the
but I'm
line
gonna
there.
blocked. All right.
Yes. So here we go. News. Serious.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, we got to get to that. Starting with the eighth round of oral arguments of President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment trial, President Yoon actually lodged objections against the Constitutional Court itself.
Right. So recap of what happened yesterday.
Okay.
So President Yoon's defense, they had been asking for Prime Minister, formerly acting President Han
Yes.
Duck-soo, to be called as a witness. That was previously rejected by the court. The justices will reconvene today to talk about this possibility.
Right.
But the reason is that the justices cited irrelevance for his appearance as a witness. And actually, the court refused many of Yoon's defense's requests, including verifying the number of voters to dispel this long-going election fraud allegations,
Right.
and also for President Yoon to question the National Intelligence Service Chief Cho Tae-yong himself. So, given this, Yoon's side strongly objected to the refusal, saying that if the hearings continue in such manner,
Right.
the defense would have no choice but to make, quote, a grave decision. So in Korean, their wording was 중대한 결심.
Sure.
They didn't specify to what, but that was a comment that was made. But overall, it seems that the procedures are wrapping up to go over the documented evidence and also to hear both sides' arguments for 2 hours each in the ninth or the additional hearing scheduled for next week.
Right.
So usually what happens with impeachment trials towards the end, they wrap up with oral arguments after the justices examine evidence on paper, and there are the final statements from the two sides.
I see.
And also the president, in this case President Yoon Suk-yeol, he gets to state his case in final statements should he choose to. So experts say that after the ninth hearings, which are scheduled for next Tuesday, the court might actually end things there or hold maybe one, maximum 2 hearings and wrap up the arguments. So the ruling does not come immediately, however, because the justices need time to deliberate and discuss.
Right.
So in the past, in the case of former President Roh Moo-hyun, it took 14 days. In the case of former President Park Geun-hye, 11 days. So we're looking at maybe maximum of 2 weeks if following that precedence. So let's consider everything. Pundits put the ruling to come down if they're ending arguments next week. the first week of March. If they're going to hold 1 or 2 extra arguments, the second week of March at the latest. So it's coming up in about a month's time.
Right. So that's the general timeline that we have now, right? The time frame. For now, we're going to go back to the story, the elementary school stabbing case in Daejeon. I mean, this one of the top stories across the nation. Parents have expressed concerns about the safety of their children, right?
Rightfully so. So this case was definitely tragic and shocking, especially because of the where and the who. A school and a teacher placed on a person whom we trust or we're supposed to. So there have been a lot of online comments amongst parents, but especially and unfortunately moms, working moms, that have expressed a sense of guilt and anxiety. So by the way, I'm not saying this to say that they should, absolutely not, but to kind of point to maybe underlying social issues. So it was exacerbated by the statement that the teacher gave, the suspect gave to the police, that she basically meant to die with whomever the, quote, last child that walked out of the classroom or out of school was. So working moms who heard this online say that they felt kind of chills go down their back because usually if you are a dual working parent, you're not the earliest in picking up your child from school.
True.
So they say that they've had their child be the final one, the last one out of school. So there were concerns. So this has led to parents looking for self-defense equipment for their children, like pepper spray, whistles, and other things online. So that is unfortunately, of course, are these useful? Is a 7-year-old going to ever be able to use pepper spray effectively? Most likely no, but that's just kind of a gauge of the public sentiment right now.
Absolutely. And this has really garnered attention over child tracking apps as well.
Right. So in the initial phase of the police and the parents looking for the child, there was apparently a bit of confusion with the police trying to track down the child Haneuri's phone. Because how the police track you down, they use both the cell phone tower and GPS information.
Okay.
But because there aren't cell phone towers on every single block, apparently it has a larger margin of error. So initially reports say that the location showed the girl to be at the school, then an apartment complex nearby, then at a different kindergarten.
Right.
So it was reported that the location tracking app that the father had on, the parents had on the child's phone, that had her location pinned at the school the entire time, which is where she wound up being found.
Right.
So the app also has, it can activate the phone or the microphone on the cell phone, and parents can hear the sound surrounding surrounding the child's phone, kind of like a walkie-talkie setting, but parents can activate it from afar. So there have been reports of the things that were heard from around her. So this app at one point became the 7th most downloaded application on domestic app stores.
Yes.
However, there are concerns because while this may be used in emergencies such as this, using them recklessly or all the time could be an infringement on everybody else's rights around the child, including the teachers.
True. Because
they could technically bug the classroom should they choose if they keep it activated all the time. So according to reports, experts say that, if there were to a legal issue, if there was no intent to eavesdrop or record someone else's conversation, but only to check up on the child's safety, it wouldn't be a legal problem. But that is also to say this would be only activated during emergency situations.
I see. But, once again, to show you the sentiment of the entire nation at this point about, keeping an eye on and now an ear on your loved ones, your little ones.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next story for now. North Korea has taken yet another step to tear down signs of previous inter-Korean cooperation.
Right. So North Korea yesterday began taking down this reunion facility for separated families at Mount Kumgang's tourist area. And the South Korean Unification Ministry urged Pyongyang to stop this and voice strong regrets over the move.
Right.
So it also added that South Korea is considering some legal steps because this property was built using South Korean resources would be in violation of Seoul's property rights.
Yes.
By the way, this was also the very last standing physical symbol of the inter-Korean cooperation in kind of now what seems to be the bygone era because this was the only intact structure at the Kumgang resort.
Right.
The site was built following Red Cross agreement back in 2003 and was used as a reunification site for separated families starting in 2009. So the Unification Ministry said that dismantling the site is an anti-humanitarian move that tramples on the hopes of separated families.
Ah, yes. Once again, what's going on between the two Koreas. Let's move on to other international news. We're going to get the latest on what's happening with the Ukrainian war because there's been a lot of talk about are there real negotiations
Right,
going
negotiations to start, quote,
Right.
immediately. This is the statement that came out of U.S. President Donald Trump's phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
That's
that was
right.
Wednesday local time. However, the concern is, well, there's a major party missing from that phone call. So what about Ukraine? Well, let's going back to Russia to begin with. The Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, said that Ukraine will quote, of course, be one way or another, be taking part in the negotiations.
Right.
But that one way or another is an interesting wording.
Yes.
He also stated that there will be a bilateral Russian-American track of the dialogue, and another track will be associated with involvement of Ukraine. But it seems that they're purposely using wording that does not directly put them on as a direct party of concern.
Yes, indeed. And so how has Ukraine responded to all of this?
Right, so the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, posted a statement on X saying that he spoke to the Polish leader and warned world leaders against trusting Putin's claims of readiness to end the war.
I see.
So he's saying approach the situation cautiously with a bit of skepticism, perhaps. He also emphasized that NATO membership would be the most cost-effective way for their allies to give Ukraine security guarantees. That's been kind of a big no on Russia's part. So this will be one of the more tense issues moving forward in any form of negotiations. Also, as to the other European allies at a NATO meeting in Brussels, and also other allies. U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said that peace negotiations will involve elements neither Moscow or Kyiv wants, while NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said that Putin must not be able to grab another square mile of Ukraine. So overall, major points will be territorial disputes and also NATO membership.
That's right. So close eye on this situation. And many people are saying, is this confrontation being like, not just for real, but like there's so much focus on Gaza right now. So this is kind of like flying under the radar, but back on the radar. Well, we'll definitely check in with you in hour number 2. So thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, this was Haley. We're going to get to our first song. This is Lucky by Jason Mraz featuring Kobe Kelly as requested by Layla.
Do you hear me? I'm talking to you across the water, across the deep blue ocean, under the open sky. Oh my, baby, I'm trying.
Boy, I hear you in my dreams. I feel you whisper across the sea. I keep you with me in my heart. You make it easier when life gets hard.
Lucky I'm in love with my best friend. Lucky to have been where I have been. Lucky to be coming home again.
They don't know how long it takes
waiting for a love like this.
every time
We say goodbye. I wish we had one more kiss. I'll wait for you. I promise you I will. Lucky I'm in love with my best friend. Lucky to have been where I have been. Lucky to be coming home again. Lucky we're in love in every way. Lucky to have stayed where we have stayed. Lucky to be coming home someday. And so I'm sailing through the sea to an island where we'll meet. You'll hear the music, feel the air. I'll put a flower in your hair.
Though the breezes through the trees move so pretty, you're all I see as the world keeps spinning round. You hold me right here, right now.
Lucky I'm in love with my
Welcome back, everybody. So today, because it is Valentine's Day, well, we are talking about not just the cheesiest and corniest pickup lines. Those are real good too, though. Also, maybe something that you want to hear from somebody you're interested in, or your significant other. Something that this is too personal. I don't know. I'll just say it anyway. Something that was said to me this morning, early this morning. My roommate did, open his eyes early in the morning, and he said, Happy Valentine's Day. And he said, we'll celebrate and have the gift giving later on, because in non-Korean cultures for Valentine's Day, if you do celebrate, it's kind of like both giving of gifts, and usually, the man in a relationship gives the woman gifts, flowers, chocolate. So, but in the morning, he said something that I thought was really sweet. He said, I not only love you, but I'm still in love with you. And he said it like so earnestly. Like the difference between I love you in English versus I'm in love with you. It is kind of different, right? So he said that. He's like, I love you, but I'm still in love with you. And I was kind of like, at like 5:30 in the morning, I was just like, thank you. I love you too. So that was really sweet. So thank you to my roommate who made my morning this morning. Somebody wants to know, 뽀뽀했어요? Oh, we kiss every day. Do you not? Couples, do you not? Is that weird? Is that really weird? 가족끼리 그러면 안 돼요? No. We make it a point. We kind of set a goal. We say at least 3 kisses per day. I don't know if we get to 3 kisses, but minimum at least 1 kiss every day. At least, a little peck. This is I think the key to our longevity, because you got to make the effort. That infatuation, it doesn't last forever. All right, let's get to Cat's Pick for today. For today's Cat's Pick, yesterday, were you watching? I didn't catch the women's figure skating because it was in the middle of the day, but of course I watched the highlights. And then last night, we were all glued to the TV to watch the gold medal win for Cha Jun-hwan. But of course, we can't leave out, of course, the gold medalist for the women's side either. So here are clips from Yeonhap News and SPO TV.
조금 전 들어온 소식입니다. 한국 남자 피겨의 간판 차준환 선수가 2025 하얼빈 동계 아시안게임에서 금메달을 목에 걸었습니다. 차준환 선수는 조금 전 중국 하얼빈에서 마무리된 남자 피겨 싱글 프리스케이팅에서 완벽에 가까운 연기를 펼치며 일본의 가기야마 유마를 꺾고 역전 우승했는데요.
한국 남자 피겨가 아시안게임에서 메달을 딴 건 최초인데요. 앞서 열린 여자 싱글 종목의 김채연 선수에 이어 한국 피겨는 이번 아시안게임에서 남녀 우승자를 모두 배출하는 쾌거를 이뤘다는 기분 좋은 소식 전해드리겠습니다.
쇼트 프로그램 이후에 말씀드린 것처럼 정말 최선을 다했고요. 그렇기 때문에 저의 경기 내용에 대해서 굉장히 만족스럽고 잘 마무리한 것 같습니다. 최선을 다해서. 피겨 스케이팅이 이제 전체적인 완성도가 중요하듯이 전체적으로 좀 만족스러운 부분이 있는 것 같고요. 중간중간 살짝의 위기도 있었습니다만 위기들 잘 극복해낸 것 같고, 그렇기 때문에 정말로 후회 없이 최선을 다했다라고 얘기할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 정말 기뻤고요. 저 또한 김채연 선수 정말 멋진 또 경기, 또 항상 열심히 하는 선수인데 또 그런 노력이 늘 보상받을 수는 없지만 오늘 그 노력에 굉장히 아주 멋진 스케이팅으로 또 많은 분들께 힘을 드릴 수 있는 경기를 보여준 것 같아서 저 또한 어느 정도 힘을 받았던 것 같고요. 진심으로 저도 기뻤습니다.
너무 기쁜 것 같고 막상 따니까 많이 따고 싶었구나 싶어요. 어제보다는 조금 덜 떨고 조금은 더 즐기면서 경기할 수 있었어서 행복한 것 같고, 그다음에 제가 계획했던 요소들을 다 깔끔하게 할 수 있었던 것 같아서 그 부분이 가장 만족스러워요.
Historic. Especially for the men's side, because this is, of course, the first medal, but it's a gold medal. And then, of course, the double gold yesterday. Amazing performances by both. And I certainly hope that this is just the beginning. We have the Olympics coming up also. So good luck to them as well. This was Cat's Pick for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
It is time for Casey and Foreign Press Highlights. But more importantly, I want your cheesiest or best pickup line. Here we go.
All right. I've never used this, but this is one I've heard.
Okay.
And I think I might never use it. How does it go? Hey, did it hurt when you fell from heaven?
Why are all these heaven jokes?
Yeah.
No, it's not just you. Like many of our, listeners, all the heaven
Similar,
jokes,
right?
like
Yeah.
similar, like angel falling from the sky.
I've got another one, but I don't think
yeah.
I can share it on the air.
No,
Maybe
is
the
it-
beginning part.
the beginning part. Okay, let's hear it.
Hey, is that a mirror in your pocket?
I'm trying to imagine the answer.
I can't.
You can't say it on air?
I can't.
Okay, after. I'm so curious. I have no
I don't know.
idea.
It feels wrong.
It feels wrong.
It feels wrong. Again, I've never used it, but I've heard it.
Right. And so I'm looking at some of these like pickup lines that are supposedly like right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Nobody has an answer for the one I gave good.
I have no idea.
They're a better bunch of human beings than I've come across, I guess.
How about this one? Do you play soccer? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Oh, because you're a keeper.
All right, I'm going to delete mine from the record. Mine is way worse than anything. Yeah. Oh.
Yes. So
Again, I've never used them.
okay.
I've heard them.
And second big question:
Go ahead.
what do you have planned for Valentine's Day?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because Valentine's Day is also my anniversary.
Oh my gosh, the pressure.
It snuck up on me. I'll be honest. It snuck up. February 14th came early this year, didn't it?
It seems like it.
Oh, dear.
Okay. So what do you have planned? She's not listening. She's
Well, we've got several things in the works. And I'll let you know when I finalize them.
that means Casey, you forgot? 어머, 결혼기념일 일을 you forgot. I'm so disappointed.
I didn't forget.
You're just planning at the last minute.
Well, I like to be spontaneous. There it is. I like to be spontaneous. And
Leslie says she just Googled your pickup line and she said
no.
OMG. So I guess you can't say it on
yeah,
air.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Don't use it either.
Okay, so you still have plenty of time.
Yeah.
As soon as you're done with Morning Wave in Busan, you know what to do, right?
Go back to sleep.
No. Plan
Wake up
furiously.
tomorrow.
Okay, plan furiously. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Any suggestions?
You know what?
Yeah.
Dinner is mandatory because it's a double whammy. Your anniversary plus Valentine's Day.
With kids though, a prepared meal at home, I assume, is better than taking everybody to a
Grandma,
restaurant.
Grandpa, they can't help out.
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Put them out. Like,
What would you rather have? Would you rather have like a night out with kids in tow, or would you rather have like a nice meal at home? Because I cook a mean steak. Like that's one thing I can brag about.
Yeah, I would not want to go out with the kids. So.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So cook something that you know will
Nice
go over
bottle
well.
of wine, flowers. Yes, do the whole shebang.
Right.
Leslie says, buy jewelry. Tommy says,
Oh my gosh.
you are in big trouble, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, now we know. All right.
Maybe I'll try one of those pickup lines.
By the way, while we're doing our segment, listeners, if you have any suggestions, send them in. And then at the end, I'll read them. So let's get into our first story.
Okay. Yeah, I wish this had some kind of romantic advice, but this is so far from all of that.
Okay.
Do you know who Universe is?
Universe. Is this like the universe or?
Who? Yeah, not the. Yeah. Well, I guess we could. Yes, we could make
No,
the
I
universe
don't.
into a personification.
Who is Universe?
It's
Yes.
spelled one verse, together, the number one and then verse, but it's pronounced universe. I suggest they go back to the drawing board with that. I don't think anybody's going to know that, but
No
okay.
one's going to know that.
No.
Okay, what is this?
But people might know this soon. It's a group. It's a boy group. It's made up of 5 members. You've got Hyuk and Suk, who are from North Korea. You've got Aito, who's from Japan, and then you've got Asian Americans Kenny and Nathan. And they only go by their first names, apparently.
Sure.
And they are set to make history as the first K-pop boy band to debut with North Korean defectors. And this was the most interesting article I found this week. I was like, what?
Interesting.
And the headline is even more interesting. How a North Korean went from begging to K-pop. And this is from the BBC.
Ooh.
It's too long for me to go into all the details, but I want to go over some of it because it's just fascinating.
Give us the most interesting ones.
Okay, so the focus of the article is mainly on the singer Hyuk, who his full name is Yoo Hyuk. He was 9 years old when he had to start begging on the streets of North Hamgyong.
For real?
Yeah. So it seems like it might be that kind of article. It's not. It's kind of weirdly uplifting in a way.
Okay.
He lived in one of the poorest provinces in North Korea. It's basically on the border side in the north with China and Russia.
Sure.
That means a difficult border to get things, right? Really tough to cross, really tough to get import, export, even in the black market. So he would beg. Sometimes he would run errands for soldiers. Sometimes he sold foraged mushrooms. At the age of 9, he was able to figure out, I guess people have those survival skills when they need them, right?
Yes.
Sometimes he would steal just because he was hungry. He once stole a lunchbox from an underground station that was just sitting there. Inside was a scoop of spoiled rice. They don't say what he did with it. I assume he ate it. He said this was just part of everyday life for a lot of North Koreans. Survival was such a thing for him that he didn't really have time to have any dreams or anything. He was just for day-to-day living.
Right.
Now this year, he is 25 and he's going to debut in the United States as a member of a K-pop boy band.
Yes. So
big change.
Well, how did he get out of North Korea?
Okay, so he was born in Gyeongsang County, which is he's in a small village. He was raised by his father and his grandmother. His parents divorced when he was 4. His mother actually fled to South Korea, and at the time, she tried to reach out to him and tried to get him to join her. He didn't want to go. He wanted to stay with his father. So, and he says actually at first they weren't extremely poor to begin with, but quickly after his parents split up, things got kind of dire.
Sure.
His father didn't want to work. His grandmother was too old to work. So he was basically left to survive on his own at age 9. That's why he started begging. Eventually his father said you should join your mother. So in 2013 he did escape. It took months. He went through several countries. Like I said, the border he was around was not easy to get out. He doesn't even want to give the route he went through because he feels like others might not have the same chance if he tells how he got out.
That's true.
Yeah.
So how do you get into music?
Yeah, it's a weird kind of meandering way that he got there. But once he lived in South Korea, he lived with his mom just for a year. Then he went to boarding school. His mom helped pay for that.
Okay.
And then he just struggled to keep up with the competitive education system here. Because can you imagine? He went from, his whole life skills were not prepared for that, right? So he barely finished primary school before he defected. And then he turned to writing to kind of deal with all this. Yeah, he started writing. He started writing short poems talking about his life, his past life, missing his father, things like that. And he felt like he couldn't share these things with people, but at least he wanted to get his thoughts out for himself.
I see.
And actually, then he was just kind of encouraged by friends and teachers in his school's music club and found passion in rap. So the writing turned to rap. Yeah.
I see. I can see.
Yeah.
So, and then he got scouted, or how did he get into a K-pop group?
Yeah, it's kind of, again, it's so, how could you find these things? But basically, he didn't even know about K-pop growing up in North Korea because he was at the part where they couldn't even get those USB, over the border.
Right.
So he didn't really know about K-pop, but he kind of started to want to express himself. He graduated at age 20 from high school. He started working part-time at restaurants, started working at factories. And then suddenly, I guess in 2018, he was featured in an educational TV program that changed everything.
Really?
He was discovered by music producer Michelle Cho, who formerly worked with SM Entertainment. And then she offered him a spot in his agency just based on that.
Just on that?
I guess so, yeah. And he was like, I don't know who this woman is. I don't trust her. Like,
course.
because there's a lot of, he says there's a lot of scams in South Korea
I'm
for
sure.
defectors.
Oh, really?
And he was like, I don't, until he realized like she was spending a lot of time and money on him, he was like, okay, I guess this is not a scam.
I guess I can kind of trust her.
Right, I guess.
I guess, right. So I'm thinking she had a huge influence on his life. Thus far.
And like I said, there's another North Korean defector in the group as well. And she said like working with the two of them, they were like completely blank canvases. They had zero pop culture knowledge.
Right.
So they were just like, whatever you tell us to do, we'll do it. And she was like, she couldn't believe how physically committed they were. Wow. They would work till like other people would be exhausted. And they would just like keep going, all right, what's next? And then they would be like, wouldn't even question what they're being told to do.
Sure.
And then she said like, because of her influence, he started questioning things too much. And now she's like, oh, I've changed him a bit. Yeah. So big change.
Pretty amazing. So the story, once again, you can find. And anything else you want to add before we?
Yeah. His goal is actually, he hopes to actually be listened to by North Koreans someday. And, you know, that's a possibility because music does get smuggled.
Yes, filters in.
Right. And the same token, like he doesn't want to criticize North Korea and he doesn't want to, you know, he's careful about how he talks about it.
I see.
So it's a really interesting line that he has to draw for himself, but he hopes to show defectors as well that they can, you know, live out dreams that they didn't even have or thought were possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing story. So
we wish them the best of luck, right?
Absolutely. So thank you for sharing. Benny's saying like this is a miracle moment. Like, you know, the fact that he made it here
to begin with,
and then the fact that he's like, you know, pursuing a dream he probably didn't even know he had.
Right.
I mean, got discovered. Right. Pretty amazing.
Yep.
All right. Real quickly, our second story.
Just a bit of good news.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of news about tariffs these days in the news, in the international news.
Trump's tariffs.
That's right. And there's a lot of worry about that. So I thought, this is a nice way to start the weekend because according to Reuters, the South Korean Free Trade Pact could limit impact of reciprocal Trump tariffs, according to economists. So it's a short article just about how the tariffs might have little to no effect here, which is good news for us.
Yes.
And it all goes back to free trade agreements that were originally signed in 2007 and actually revised when Trump was president the first time in 2018.
Right.
So according to two big banks, international banks, Barclays and Citi, if you look at the actual numbers that the tariffs that are set up between South Korea and the United States, it's 0.002% and 0.003% on exports to the UK, to the US and imports here. So it's kind of like, all right, before anybody panics, let's take a look at what the real numbers are, and it might mean little to nothing for us. I'm not going to say that,
Fingers
worldwide.
Crossed.
Exactly.
But,
a little bit of good news that way, economically speaking, is always good.
Okay. And we have some messages for you. People are saying, buy jewelry, buy flowers.
All right,
put those kids
jewelry
to
real
bed.
quick. Jewelry real quick.
Yes.
If you're terrible at picking jewelry designs, what's like a safe jewelry design?
Oh, safe?
Yeah, like what's something like not too
Anything
gaudy?
with diamonds?
Oh, girl. All right, I'm going to have to start working an extra job.
No, and people are recommending that you get a babysitter. And next time, plan ahead, they said. And we'll remind you. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
I appreciate all the advice.
Tell us what happens next week.
Oh, well, if I don't show up next Friday, you know what happened.
You're good. Okay.
Right.
Good luck. Bye, Casey.
Thank you kindly.
Well, this is Love is in the Air by John Paul Young. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
And I don't know if I'm being foolish, don't know if I'm being wise, but it's something that I must believe in, and it's there when I look in your eyes. Love is in the air, in the whisper of the trees. Love is in the air, in the thunder of the seas. And I don't know if I'm just dreaming, don't know if I feel sane, but it's something that I must believe in, and it's there when I call out your name. Love is in the air, love is in the air. Oh, Hold you there when I reach out for you. Love is in the air.
함께합니다.
These are the guidelines for action for people in the event of an apartment building fire. First, if evacuation is possible in the event of a fire in your home, move to a safe place in a low posture by using stairs. And if evacuation is difficult, move to an evacuation space or block the door gap and call 119 for rescue. Second, if a fire breaks out in another home and no flames or smoke enters your home, wait inside the home, call 119, and act according to the announcement. Third, if flames and smoke come into your home in the event of a fire in another home, check to see if evacuation is possible and then evacuate or request rescue. This was brought to you by the Ministry of the Interior and Safety and the National Fire Agency.
살림꾼 김재우의 살림템 추천. 창틀 바람막이로 실내 온기 지켜줄게. 포장은 다회용기로. 플라스틱 거절한다. 우리 식재료로 유통을 줄이면 탄소를 줄일 수 있어. 이 모든 건 기후위기에 대응하는 지구 살림템. 여러분도 함께해요. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded.
What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
is now 8 o'clock. This is News Highlights. Court schedules additional hearing for Yoon's impeachment trial. The Constitutional Court said yesterday that it will hold an additional hearing for President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment trial next Tuesday to hear arguments from both the President's defense and the National Assembly. The court will also examine evidence that was adopted but not examined during the 8th hearing yesterday, according to Acting Chief Justice Moon Hyung-bae. The justices are also scheduled to meet later today to decide whether to accept the request for 6 more witnesses submitted by Yoon's defense, including Prime Minister Han Duck-soo. Supreme Court confirms 15-year sentence for Lee Jae-myung's attacker. The Supreme Court yesterday upheld lower court's 15-year prison term for the knife attacker of opposition leader Lee Jae-myung. The 68-year-old attacker, surnamed Kim, was indicted for stabbing the Democratic Party chair in the neck during his visit to Busan in January last year. The Supreme Court said the lower court's sentence for Kim cannot be seen as unfair considering all the circumstances, including the motive, means, and results of the crime. South Korea bans storing battery banks in plane overhead bins. Passengers traveling on South Korean airlines will be banned from storing portable battery banks and e-cigarettes in overhead storage compartments starting next month, the government said yesterday. The measures were introduced by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, and Transport following the major fire aboard an Air Busan aircraft before takeoff at Kimhae International Airport in Busan last month. During flights, battery banks and e-cigarettes must be placed in clear plastic bags or protective pouches or have exposed terminals covered and should be stored in seat pockets or coat pockets, the ministry said. Trump announces plans for reciprocal tariffs. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a new reciprocal tariff policy to apply to all U.S. trading partners to level the playing field. Trump pledged what he called a beautiful, simple system of matching import duties imposed by other countries, claiming that the U.S.'s allies have been worse than their enemies. No new specific tariffs were announced, however. Instead, Trump signed a presidential memorandum ordering the development of a comprehensive plan to address what the White House described as long-standing imbalances in the global economy. In Asian Games, the figure skaters Kim Tae-yeon and Cha Jun-hwan win gold with South Korea firmly in second place. South Korea added 3 gold medals at the Asian Winter Games yesterday to lock down second place in the medal race with just a day remaining. With gold medals from the men's and women's singles and figure skating and from the men's snowboard halfpipe yesterday, South Korea now has 15 gold medals, one shy of its Winter Asiad record set at the 2017 competition, along with 14 silver medals and 13 bronze. The 9th Asian Winter Games will end today with the finals in men's and women's hockey and men's and women's curling scheduled before the closing ceremony. This was News Highlights. 시작됐네요.
또 시작이야 또. She's at it again.
Yes.
But Catherine,
yes.
Pick a heart, any heart.
Okay, I'm gonna choose the middle one, the pink one.
All right.
Because I'm wearing pink.
And open it.
Okay.
It's like a fortune cookie, but no cookie. It's a cheesy pickup line. Read it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you're only a 9. Only a 9.
Only a 9.
Because
not an 11.
I'm the one you need.
You're the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Give one to the producer.
All right.
And then we'll read it.
Chuck it.
Okay.
This one?
Okay.
She gets the red one.
She gets the red one.
All right, you can read it.
Okay, so the red one is for
our producer.
PD님, are you on a loan?
Oh, oops.
You're supposed to, okay. Because you have my interest. Loan,
like picture loan, LOAN.
Because you have my interest. When you're
Interest is
interested
not
in-
only 이자,
but
관심.
I have some more one-liners in
Ooh.
Korean. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. 너 별자리 뭐야?
쌍둥이 자리.
아니야. 나는 뭔지 알아?
뭔데?
나는 너의 옆자리. okay. I have another one. Okay. 나 요즘 수영 배우고 있어.
Why?
왜냐면 너의 눈 속에 빠지면 안 되잖아. 그래서 수영을 배우고 있어.
Not opening my eyes. All right,
Okay.
in English, like that we can translate because there's
Okay.
like upon.
Yes.
I'm learning how to swim.
Yes.
Why? In case I drown in your eyes. Wah, wah, wah.
Yes. How about this one? 너 무슨 라면 좋아해?
라면?
나는 너와 함께라면 다 좋아.
All right.
Okay,
Go,
now that I have
go
thoroughly-
redirect that to your roommate.
No. The
See if
cheese
he's still in
factor
love
was
with you
just
after that.
So. Oh, yes. Okay, but
All right.
let's get into now serious.
Yes.
와글와글, because we're going to talk about 하늘. Everybody knows the story of 하늘, right? People going to mourn her death, her passing, and pay respect at her funeral, including parents, though, who are taking their kind of like young children. But apparently experts are advising, or at least cautioning against this.
So we completely understand the spirit behind it. Somebody their age died at such a tragic young age. So Haner was 8 years old in Korean age. So parents of similar age, first and second graders, they've, according to reports, have taken their kids to the funeral to pay respects. But according to the head of the Korean Society of Pediatric Behavior and Development Medicine, this may scar them mentally and for a long time.
Right.
So Dr. Park Yang-dong said that young elementary school age children, especially first graders, this is not an age where they can understand or know what death is. And visiting the funeral may not be good for their mental health, even causing PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, so you might be wondering, well, but I do have a nephew who went to our granddad's, his great-grandfather's funeral about a year ago.
Right.
But this is different from what we would consider to be kind of a more of a, well, I wouldn't say normal, but a more familiar, usual funeral of a grandparent or even a family pet.
Right.
That's kind of death they can face, and that could be a learning experience. But we are talking about an alleged murder.
Yes.
So Dr. Park says that there's no way to explain murder to a first grader, especially, again, going back to the fact that this happened at a school, allegedly at the hands of a teacher who's supposed to protect them. So even without these explanations, the sight of such grief, when you go to a funeral of such solemnness and gravity, such grief and maybe crying of not just tears down one's face, but just sobbing, that could be traumatic, and said that about 5 to 10% of children who learn about this case could develop PTSD. To very specific figures there. So he advised us adults to make sure that young children are actually not exposed to the news. So being very careful of what news you watch in front of them and not tell them details about death, and closely for cases of her friends, the deceased friends, closely monitor them and make sure that they get the help they need should they need it.
Oh, absolutely. And, there's been a bit of an issue involving Hannah's father asking if his late daughter's, beloved favorite K-pop idol could actually visit the funeral in person.
Right. So earlier in the week, her father spoke to reporters, and among the various issues he addressed, including an act named after her to, help the teachers who are in maybe facing mental health issues. He also talked about how his daughter was a huge fan of Chang Won-young, a member of IVE, a girl group, and asked if she could visit the funeral. By the way, IVE has previously sent a funeral wreath because Haner was a big fan.
Yes.
But after this went public, many people went to the idol's social media page and commented that, can you please visit? And there have been many, many comments about that, but others asking whether they should, whether, this is something they should ask of someone, or what about this opens other floodgates to, other requests. So the father spoke to reporters again and said that it was quite hurtful that some of the reports made it sound as if he was demanding that she visit, clarifying that it wasn't a demand but just an ask, and that he cannot stand the articles that distorted what he said.
Right. And, even before, many people were talking about this whole issue yesterday, saying, is this appropriate? Is it not? I mean, gray area. All right. Next, a group of applicants to the teacher employment exam were told they had passed the exam, which is really, really good. Only to have that redacted? I mean, what?
Yeah, so we're talking about 임용, which is, to be a teacher.
Right.
I know the competition rate is lower than it's been in the past.
But it's still a tough exam.
But still, people prepare for years. So Gyeonggi Office of Education, they made the final, although that may be in italics now, announcements on those who passed the teacher's employment exam, the 임용시험. Apparently, though, they applied the raw score to the final score as opposed to the one that's graded on a curve into one of the categories. So there was a mistake with the score calculation, and 12 hours later, they reposted that list. 12 hours. That means everyone's seen it.
And not just that. I mean, this is such a serious exam.
Right.
How can mistakes like that be made? I'm just saying, I'm a lenient person, but not that lenient. And how many people had their scores changed?
All right, so a total of 1,809 people passed the exam. 98 people had their fortunes flipped. So that means cut in half. 49 people who were told you passed were later told half a day later, sorry, you actually didn't.
Oh my gosh.
Other 48, they were told they didn't, but they actually passed. So, that's a great news versus horrible news. Just such a divide of fortunes.
Yes.
Right. So the office, at least, they called the applicants one by one, explained, apologized, but because this wasn't an issue with fairness or a selection process, it was just a miscalculation. So they're not going to go through the process again. So people who didn't make it, that's it. However, there have been strong complaints over such kind of what some people have called nonchalant and careless administrative action.
Right.
And the office will conduct an audit into the entire process.
I certainly hope they do, just so that it doesn't happen again. Some people, they prepare for the exams. It's not just usually a one and done, for years on end. So, okay, up next, let's talk about Donald Trump continuing his push to acquire Greenland. And so apparently some Danes, they're not having it. They're pushing back.
Right. So Danish people, Danes. So,
yes.
All right. Background. Denmark owns Greenland, and they've been quite against President Trump's calls to buy Greenland. So now Danes are saying, you want Greenland? We want California. Yeah. So over 200,000 Danes have signed a satirical. This is important. It's a joke, but in Korean we say it's a 뼈가 있는 농담, but it's a loaded joke.
Yes.
To buy California from the U.S. So the petition says, have you ever looked at a map and thought, you know what Denmark needs? More sunshine, palm trees, and roller skates. I think we all need that.
Yes.
And while we may have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make that dream a reality, let's buy California from Donald Trump.
Okay.
Supposedly, those who have signed the petition include Lars Ulrich of Metallica, the famous band, and Viggo Mortensen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. And many other famous films. Right. So they are now calling for California to be New Denmark. That's where many of names came. New York, New Jersey. There's York and Jersey in the UK.
Right.
Anyway, so they're proposing we're going to bring hygge, this Danish rest and respite to Hollywood.
Right.
Bike lanes to Beverly Hills and universal health care. Which is,
I'm not going to complain about that.
Right.
Okay.
But all jokes aside, though, there are many more. But the state's governor, Gavin Newsom, he's been in a tense relationship with President Trump because he directed $50 million to fight the Trump administration and the deportation efforts. And then Trump kind of hitting back with threats to kind of redirect federal disaster aid to the state in the wake of the LA wildfires. So, yeah.
Okay, that's what's going on there.
Yeah.
And now we're going to end it with love.
Love,
L-O-V-E, because once again, it's Valentine's Day. Oh, that's such a pretty purple.
Thank you.
Yes,
you can have it. Yeah.
It is Valentine's Day, so
Let's talk about love. But love at first sight, because that was one of our like woggly issues earlier this week.
Right.
And my answer was staunchly no. There's no
cannot
such
fall
thing.
in love at first sight.
And now I come back with evidence.
Oh.
Guys, I have facts to back me up. All right. So, what is love? What is love?
I love that song.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So love, according to scholars, it's defined by a deeply intimate relationship where security, trust, safety, and attachment have all been established. That does not happen at first sight.
That sounds so boring.
Oh my God.
That definition of love, I don't know.
Really? See, I
sounds
find
so
I
boring.
find that lovely. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a 2016 study in the Indian Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism. It suggests that what we consider to be love at first sight, 첫눈에 반하다, is actually intense attraction at first sight. 첫눈에 매력을 느낀다.
풍당 빠지다.
Yeah, so this is kind of a trigger of a flurry of hormones, including dopamine and cortisol. This creates a burst of positive feelings, which may lead you to think, I found the one. But it takes work to make that feeling last.
Right.
And as I don't know, what is love? As someone who does not know how to make that last, that's beyond my ability and pay grade. So I'm going to toss that to our expert who's actually on standby.
Yes. And so, somebody sent me a personal message on my Kakao when I'm on air saying, I agree. That's the definition of marriage, not love. The one you just read off.
Who sent that to you?
Begins with a V.
Oh,
Ends
is
with
he
an
sitting
A.
outside? Is he sitting outside currently? I'm gonna go fight him.
He sent it to my phone. I'm like,
All right.
who's I thought it was one of my kids. Like, stop texting me when I'm on air. But it was Vasan. Right. But, love at first sight may be true. But, just from for a different object of your love.
Right.
It might not be a person.
But okay, so love at first sight, maybe less so for your spouse, significant other, but definitely more for your pet. Yes, so this is an American survey conducted by the Honest Kitchen and Talker Research, who surveyed 2,000 people who had dogs and serious partners.
Yes.
80% said, yes, I felt an instant, immediate connection with my dog. And then 69% said, yeah, I felt that for my partner. So definitely lower.
It's higher for
definitely
the dog.
higher for the dog. And people who are pet owners especially were more likely to believe in love at first sight for animals than people. So maybe your dog can be your Valentine. Don't feed it chocolate though.
Yes.
No chocolate for dogs.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
Do not.
Give it a treat.
But my roommate, he insists, like he tells a story so many times. How do you say halo in Korean?
후광.
He said when he saw me at the coffee shop that there was a 후광. And he literally said he was just like, she's the one.
I mean, were you standing in front of a window?
No, I was
bright
having
light?
coffee with a really good looking guy in front of me. He saw me. Anyways, TMI. All right. Anyhow, Sam, wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. He became our friend. It's okay.
Is he single?
I don't know, but he was really good looking.
Okay.
He was kind of a hottie, but yeah.
We'll talk.
Okay. Wherever you are, he's our friend now,
All
so
right.
it's okay.
Bye, Sam.
All right. For Haley. Oh, you guys would make a good match.
We're going to talk. All right. We need a song.
All right. Well, we got to get to, what is it now? Oh, traffic and weather. Have a good weekend. Bye, Haley.
Bye.
Yes. It's time for your traffic update. There is an accident on Kumandokno from Minam intersection to Manduk Tunnel number 1 right now. Another accident on Mandukdero from the Manduk Cathedral to the Manduk intersection right after the cathedral. It's also congested on World Cup Dero from Koje to Yeonsan intersection. And there's a lot of traffic on Jungangdero right now from Songgong Three-Way intersection to Seomyeon intersection. And slow inside Hwangyang Tunnel going toward Seomyeon. It's currently -1 degree Celsius under clear skies. Daytime high will go up to 12 degrees Celsius with cloud coverage starting in the afternoon. Looking ahead to the weekend tomorrow, you can expect a high of 11 and then on Sunday a high of 13 degrees. But rain is forecast from Saturday into early Sunday morning. This was your traffic and weather. This is 여전히 아름다운지 by Toy. Welcome back. And yes, indeed, that was a song request from Benny, I believe. And so we've been talking about love throughout Valentine's Day and those one-liners, those pickup lines. So yesterday, to share a little bit more about, a little bit about my personal life, just a little though. So I overheard my girls, my daughters, they're so good. And I heard them whispering to my roommate, like, Dad, you know what tomorrow is, right? 아빠 내일 뭔지 아시죠? And then I heard the pride in his voice. He whispering, he goes, 그럼 다 준비됐어. So I was just like, I'm not bragging about my roommate. The fact that my girls are like, oh, 딸들이 저를 너무 챙겨줘서 I felt like ultimate love for them. Like, I raised my girls right. They're looking after their mom. So anyhow, there's lots of different kinds of love. A romantic love, friendships, love, the love I have for you as, listeners, people participating, sending in messages daily. And you don't have to agree with me every single day on every single topic. We don't have to see eye to eye on everything. But I think that like the building of trust and that communication we have is very important. So ultimately, when I say I love you on, especially on our Notu page, I don't say it lightly. I'm not a person who says I love you all the time, but I sincerely feel that level of love because I have that trust and rapport with you guys. So I wanted to thank you for that. And now we're going to get into our special interview. Love, L-O-V-E. It's not just about the grand romantic gestures. We know that by now, right? It's all about the little things that kind of keep the spark alive every day. Like I mentioned earlier, just that one-liner my roommate said in the morning, it really kind of like, I just was like, I didn't know how to respond. I love you, but I'm still in love with you. To me, it means something that I'm still in love with you. But I don't know, maybe for you, not so, I don't know. Well, research shows that romance doesn't have to fade over time. In fact, couples who stay connected, communicate openly, and share positive experiences can keep their love thriving for years. Science has uncovered surprising insights into what makes relationships last, from the power of gratitude to the importance of shared adventures. So today, here in Korea, it is Valentine's Day, so let's explore what keeps love going. So we have invited Dr. Bianca Acevedo, who's a research scientist at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Hi, welcome to our program.
Hi, thank you for having me. Good morning, Busan.
Yes, so let me ask you this, because, love, first of all, do you have a definition of what love is? Because I think for everyone it can be quite different, and there's a debate going on with the listeners, even with myself, with Haley, who was in here earlier, about what is love?
Yes, so in a 2009 paper, Dr. Aaron and I, and the name of the paper is "Does a Long-Term Marriage Kill Romantic Love?" We defined love. We were, exploring this. Does marriage kill love? And we defined it as intensity, engagement, and sexual interest. Yes. So couples that stay in love continue to feel intense feelings for each other. They're very engaged with each other, and they still have very active sex lives.
Yes. And so to keep that love, or to keep that, at least that spark going, because for, personally speaking, been married for a very long time. What year is it? Yeah. 25, going on 25 years. I mean, What is the secret to keeping that spark alive?
There's some evidence that thinking positively about your partner is one of the top factors in couples who maintain intense romantic love long term. Yes. The other critical factor is novelty. So and there's evidence from various different angles, from experimental studies examining couples in the lab engaging in novel and challenging activities, as well as brain imaging research that shows that the dopamine reward system is significantly active for couples in romantic love, both early stage couples and long-term couples. And the dopamine system is involved in reward, motivation, feelings of euphoria, and it responds to novelty.
Yes. When you say novelty, like, something fresh, something new, I think that may be the key, very important in keeping things kind of fresh, right? So it doesn't go stale after many years together. But, we always hear this, right? Oh, communication is so important. So what is something that, everyday couples can do to improve their connection, whether, you're just dating, you're starting out, or you've been in a long-term relationship?
be inquisitive. But ask questions. Don't think, a lot of times we tend to use our loved ones or our friends and our families. Of course, we feel comfortable. They're our confidants. We feel supported by them. But it's also important for couples to be, to get to know each other again, over and over and over again. So be inquisitive. Ask your partner questions, because there may be things that you discover by asking questions. Maybe it's not always the same thing. Something new might evolve. Be supportive, and of course, be positive. So couples that stay in love think about each other in positive ways, and we forget. We often think about the negative side of things and forget that sharing positive things, focusing on positive things, and of course, thinking positively about our partners really goes a long way.
Yes. So, but you mentioned things like being novel or like being inquisitive. But okay, so do fun and adventure really help relationships last, or is it okay? Like, I know many people who are just, for lack of a better word, kind of like they're considered like boring couples with air quotes. They love their routine. They love kind of the safety that comes with that type of relationship. So, what would you say?
Sure. I mean, relationships are not always fireworks. The couples who stay in love, who maintain intense, passionate love in their marriages, feel excited about the everyday boring stuff. So it's not like, oh my God, we're going on vacation, or oh my God, we're doing this exciting thing or something really different. It's the way that they perceive it and the way that they come together and engage together about it. So I had a couple who was in the study from 2011 who went in the brain scanner. One of them went in the brain scanner. We looked at their brain, and sure enough, they were married a long time and were still showing that pattern of activity that we see in newly in love couples. But then I called them 10 years after, around the time of COVID, and they were both working from home. And, hunkered down at home. And they said they still get excited. Even though they're working in the same house, they still get excited. They want to knock on each other's doors and say, oh, look at what I found, or look, I read this really cool thing.
Right.
And so it's the everyday boring, like what we might perceive as boring, to them they get excited about. Maybe going for a walk together, maybe sharing something they read. Kind of like having a best friend, but that, you get excited to share stuff with them and talk and do things that you have to do anyways, but it's exciting.
Right. Like, my sister, she actually makes fun of me because like I really enjoy going to the supermarket with my significant other. Like I love like pushing the cart together and like kind of like, linking arms and a little bit of, in Korea we call it skinship, but, having that physical touch, not like sexually, just, having that physical contact as we, kind of push the cart together, or, if he's patting me and say, oh, let's try this, or, touches my arm. Is this weird? I think I enjoy like those little moments.
Absolutely. This is what makes sparks fly, is that, touch, positive affect, all of these things are associated with the release of very important neurotransmitters like oxytocin. And oxytocin has been shown to be associated with pair bonding and as well as romantic love. And it gets released when we engage in things like touching, kissing, positive affection, and even attention. It's associated with attention to a partner.
Yes, indeed. And what about things like, just appreciation and gratitude? They sound very like nice, right? But do they positively affect long-term relationships, even romantically?
Yes. Relationships are not always fireworks. And what distinguishes couples that stay in love is that they have frequent positive thoughts about their partner and really strong friendships. that includes feelings of gratitude, appreciation, and liking for their partner. We see this at the level of the brain.
Yes.
So couples that stay in love show activity in specific brain regions that have they're rich in oxytocin, vasopressin, and opioid receptors. And specifically, these regions are associated with the liking of things, not necessarily wanting, but the pleasantness of tasting a certain food or. And then when they look at images of their partner,
yes,
they also show stronger activity in these brain regions that are associated with their key reward regions that are activated in response to things that we like chocolate.
Like chocolate, indeed. And let me ask you this, Professor, for Dr. Acevedo, for couples who are maybe going through a rough patch, because I think that's also, in my humble opinion, normal for any relationship that it can't all be sparks and like love and hearts all day, every day, right? That, if you're going through a rough patch, what is maybe one, minor, small change that could help, that couple kind of reconnect or, kind of bring back that spark or love?
Going back to thinking about positive things, kind of like pressing reset. And there's a cognitive strategy called reappraisal. And it's not just for romantic couples. It's a strategy that's used to help people to control their thoughts so that they don't necessarily have to think about it like a stressor or a challenge in a positive way. But it's the reframing of the event. So if they're having a rough patch with the partner, kind of engaging in these cognitive strategies where they reframe things in a positive way using humor. Couples in love laugh. They laugh.
True. Yes.
They laugh, and sometimes you just have to laugh. Like the thing that you find annoying, just laugh at it and find the humor. Find the humor in it somehow. Or find the humor. Find the lighter side of it.
Well, I'm sure that's going to be a challenge, but maybe we can try that. Laughing at the imperfections, laughing at that annoying whatever it is. Maybe if we can all laugh, we can kind of support these thriving relationships in the long term. Anything else that you want to leave us with before I let you go?
And compassion, sometimes that when things are annoying, we can, make light, see it in a lighter tone, see it in a different way, or have compassion for our partners. Maybe they're struggling with something and focusing on not so much how we feel about it, but their own well-being and how we can support them can also kind of turn that script around where people who focus less on themselves and more on others do tend to be happier.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for giving us a lot to think about on Valentine's Day here. Thank you so much for all your good input and advice. And we will definitely think about it and hopefully put it into practice. Thanks for joining us.
Think about love. Thank you. Have a wonderful morning.
All right, everybody. This was Dr. Bianca Acevedo as we talked about how to maintain lasting love. The sparks, are they still there? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But maybe we can actually put in that effort to create those sparks, in what type of whatever relationship you're in, of course, if you choose to. So thank you for tuning into our special interview. How about this song as we ponder everything she told us right now? My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
Spaces between us, you have one true time I hold you in my life will always go on. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Once more, you open the door, and you'll hear in my heart, and my heart will go on and there's nothing I fear, and I know that my heart will go on. We'll stay forever this way. You are safe in my heart, and my heart will go on
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
We have, according to Michael, love specialist Vasana in the house. Really? He's like the opposite of love specialist.
Which Michael's this? I know about
Michael.
7 of them.
I know. Hey.
Yes.
What's our segment called? What in the world?
What in the world?
But before we get into that, I'm afraid to ask. Are you ready for today, Valentine's Day? Are you ready?
It's a Friday.
Yeah, it's a Friday. Oh, you guys don't celebrate?
No, we don't usually
do anything. Because every day is Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you're so not romantic. But look, everybody, can I brag?
Oh,
He
sure.
Brought there's no, I'll cover the name. Brad. The little chocolate cookie. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Not just for you, everybody.
I know. I said everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
I said everybody.
Okay, sorry.
I have no ideations that it's only for me. I said everybody. Everybody 다 사줬어요. Okay.
I wonder, in your office, do you have a secret Valentine thing going?
No.
No?
No.
Look at the face.
No. We get our paycheck, that's it. We're out the door. No, we don't have that.
In New Zealand, we always did that. Just for fun. It wasn't. I mean, it's nothing. Nobody's having crushes or anything. It's just nice fun.
Of course, yeah. It doesn't.
Secret Valentine. You're my secret Valentine.
Love comes in many forms. It's like it's not just always like romantic or like in that context, right?
Yes. I was going to mention to you because I was sitting outside before, listening to all the news that Haley was talking about, and this segment is probably just news now because what she was saying before, you could say, "What in the world?" Like buying Greenland or whatever yours. That could be on my segment right now.
Yes, reality.
Yes.
Reality bites sometimes.
But anyway, good morning, Busan. Welcome back to my segment, What's in the World? World's strangest headlines, etc., etc. Well, not so much strange with anything. Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, let's kick things off with a story about a man who is quite literally throwing money into a hole.
Throwing money into a hole. What kind of hole is this?
And his name's James. You could pronounce it Holes, but sorry, Howells.
Holes. Owls. Okay, got it. Nee.
An IT worker from Newport, South Wales, is on a decade-long quest to recover a hard drive containing thousands of Bitcoin.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's going on?
So it's worth, what he had is worth a staggering £600 million. So that's quite a lot of money in any language. Unfortunately, this fortune is buried deep in a landfill.
I heard that his ex-girlfriend threw it out by accident.
Yes.
There is no love there.
By accident.
There is no love there.
No love there.
Yes.
So the local council, however, has blocked his efforts, stating that shutting down the landfill for a search would be a waste of their time.
Get it? Waste? Landfill?
A waste of their time. Sorry. Mr. RJ Gag has started. I've got a picture, but it's a very boring picture if you put it up. But anyway, it's just a picture of the landfill.
Yes.
And what he has to dig through.
But let's be honest. If that were our hard drive, we would be there trying to get in there. I would be.
Would you?
600 million pounds?
It's a needle in a haystack.
But still.
Or a hard drive in a landfill.
Yeah, dirty, nasty.
And how many hard drives would be in there? It would be quite a lot.
I would still look for it, though.
Okay. Now, in a plot twist worthy of a Hollywood movie, speaking of James Cameron.
Yes.
Or at least a special, James is considering buying
I heard.
the entire landfill.
He's putting a consortium together to buy the landfill. Because it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, so if he does find it, he'll be the only man who ever made millions by literally throwing money away. So meanwhile, the rest of us working hard.
Yes.
Looking for coins underneath the couch.
Coins? Really? Okay.
I used to do that when I was at university. But let's be honest, the most valuable thing we'll ever find in a trash pile is a missing sock.
A missing sock, really?
You know how you put socks into the washing machine and you lose one?
Really? In the washing machine? Oh, in the washing machine. Yeah,
and then you hang up and then you're trying to pair the socks up. And where's one gone?
I have a pile of unmatched socks.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
I have so many that I just wear unmatched socks these days.
짝대기. Right. Okay, what's our second one about?
So while James is trying to turn trash into treasure, an Italian doctor is turning hospital resources into a personal vet clinic.
Oh, what's going on here?
Was that a good segue?
Yeah, I like.
Gianluca Fanelli, a radiologist in Italy, is currently under investigation for sneaking his injured cat.
What's his cat's name?
Athena.
Love it. Athena. Okay.
Athena.
Athena.
Into the hospital's cat scanner. After a vet gave her a grim diagnosis. So the vet said, your cat's not going to live, blah, 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 blah. So he, being a doctor, having access to a cat scanner, gave his cat a cat scan.
Oh.
So some are calling him a hero. Others think he should be catapulted from his job.
That he should be fired.
That he should be fired. But I was just wondering if you put in the cute cat pickup.
Oh.
But seriously though, if you had a pet,
that looks like my po tai long.
So if you had a pet, would you bend the rules for your pet if you had access?
But I know that he loves Athena, and I love my cats as well.
Especially if the diagnosis was your cat's going to die.
But bending the rules, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
Would you?
No. But
바사는 굉장한 대문자 T예요, T. Okay.
Speaking of bending the rules, let's talk about Mount Tai in China, where tourists are getting a leg up.
Oh, what's
literally a leg up.
A leg?
Yeah. So a new AI-powered exoskeleton. So
that's like high tech.
Yes. Is making the grueling climb up a mountain much easier.
Now I might go hiking.
Yes, I hate hiking too.
I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it.
We're so anti-hiking.
Does your roommate like hiking?
No.
No? Oh. Well,
Thank God.
birds of a feather.
Yes.
My goodness.
We do other activities, but we don't hike.
So I think this might take off in
walk.
Busan because there's a lot of elderly people here.
Yes.
So it's allowing elderly visitors to scale the sacred mountain with robotic assistance.
Oh, now I feel bad. It's for elderly people.
Yeah.
Okay, who have mobility issues.
Yes.
Okay, so not just lazy people like you and me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd pretend to be 60, 70.
No, we don't want to take away from the elderly who want to go exercising.
So the device weighs 1.8 kilograms.
Okay.
And it allows you to have superhuman or super whatever human you are at the moment strength.
I want to try it though.
Yeah,
I do.
I'd
If I
love
had
to
the
do it.
opportunity just to try it, yes.
Yeah. So
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, this might be the first time I've heard of tourists being uplifted in a place that doesn't involve cocktails. The internet is buzzing with videos of senior citizens scaling Mount Tai with ease. Some say they look like futuristic warriors. Others say they look like they're auditioning for a low-budget Iron Man robot.
Look it. We have
Yeah.
photographic proof.
I'd wear that.
Yeah, that I thought it would be like when you said exoskeleton, I was like thinking of like RoboCop, like the full, and then I thought, yeah, like 1.8 kilograms, so it's very lightweight.
Very lightweight.
Yes, it's doable.
Just an exoskeleton.
Okay.
So if you see an elderly tourist moonwalking up a cliffside, you'll know what happened.
Yes.
Okay, do we have time for one more?
Yes, we do.
My favorite story for the day. It's Razor Glass, so a Japanese company that's redefining employee benefits. So you know how these days a lot of companies are complaining about not enough money being paid. So this company is offering free alcohol.
Like 술?
Like 술. 이제 난 술이야. And
아침서부터.
And hangover leave.
Hangover leave?
So instead of, you know how you have, what do you call it? Yeah.
I'm going to leave you out there. Maternity leave?
Maternity leave. There you go.
Like childbirth leave. Yes.
Paternity or maternity leave.
Yes. Parental leave.
Parental leave. Hangover leave.
Hangover leave.
Yeah, so that's right. An Osaka-based tech company is attracting new talent by allowing employees to drink on the job and take paid leave if they wake up regretting that night that they had. So if you can't offer big salaries, why not offer big bar tabs?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that really conducive though?
So employees there say it makes them more productive.
Really?
Which raises the question, are they writing code or just trying to remember last night's karaoke performance? Either way, it's a workplace policy that's truly, there we go, intoxicating. The one on the left is the picture.
Okay.
The one on the right is just me finding a picture on the internet of imagining the water cooler.
Oh my gosh. How would you get any work done? I would assume it's like for after work, not during work.
Correct,
right?
yes. At the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the West, Japan and Korea, I might add, we've always been ahead of the game when it comes to working hard, working long hours. So it might take off. It might bring some fizz to the day.
Fizz.
The future is now focused on is both efficient and slightly buzzed.
I like, but I don't know about being buzzed while working. It might make you a little happier though.
No, yeah. I mean, we
but
don't
what if
need
you never
any.
want to go home?
That might be good for some people. Oh, is that Valentine's Day? Happy Valentine's Day, honey.
Listener saying 굉장한 대문자 TTTTT라고. You're like capital T. Oh, Vasana.
Yes.
You know,
Happy Valentine's Day.
Really? Okay. Well, we're going to end it on that note, and hopefully you'll survive today, and we'll check in with you next week.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. This was Vasana with What in the World. So thank you for making our broadcast today extra fun, as we did have, of course, the Valentine's Day theme. We're going to end it with this song, though, as requested by William, Moon River. And this is the Audrey Hepburn version. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style someday. Old dream maker, you heartbreaker, Wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend